think it's a misconception that many people say that the church is very involved in politics. Certainly, we do not deny that Christians are becoming more and more politically aware. But then we need to understand that the church is still a spiritual entity. Therefore, we do not think that as a church, as a spiritual entity, we will get ourselves entangled or involved in the political process of the nation. But yet at the same time, we believe that every Christian should be involved in the political process because this is our duty also as citizens of the country. And as Christians, we would like to see good governance. We would like to see government that is not corrupt, not unjust, not racially or religiously biased toward any group at all. And I think it's important that as Christians that we will educate our people so that they will be involved in the political process, yet as individual, yet as citizen, and not as representative of the church or any political party. We are non-partisan. In other words, we don't care whether the government is formed by the government of the day again or by an alternative government. All we are concerned is the people in power are upright people. People are accountable. I think that's very important. And so we need to be very clear about this, though sometimes we mention about politics, sometimes we mention about good governance. We're not doing so as citing one or another, because we will remain neutral and above board in this.
Like if you ask me a downright question, can you divide politics and spiritual inclination? Not inclination. When in church you talk about spiritual matters, right? You don't bring political things into the church and try to teach politics in the church. That's absolutely, I look at it, absolutely wrong. But spiritual aspect of it, you teach the spiritual of it. From there, these people emerge to be a good politician.
Okay, of course, we are not going to say anything bad about the government yet, okay? Because put it this way, we are not here to overthrow the government. We are not, okay? But what we do is, I think God do teach us sometime to give up our rights, okay? But sometimes I think it comes to a stage where I think we got to start defending ourselves. Because I think the political climate in Malaysia right now, after 55 years, quite sad to say, it's still very racial in nature. People are defending the 3R: race, religion, and royalty. They always harp on it, okay? And the sad thing is about our administrator of this country right now is they are talking different things to different crowds. I personally have been to opposition, okay, ceramah, and I find that they are talking across, even though I think I was the only Chinese in the maybe 1,000 crowd, but they didn't say anything about other races, which I think is quite enlightening, So if you're coming back to the church and all that, I think most of us are now, we're talking about the alternative media. Now with the advancement in the internet and all that, I think now we are more aware. The church is trying to achieve. I think the church is only trying to level the playing field, okay? So that we as a minority in the country, okay, we're going to have a bigger say in the affairs of the country, okay? We are very put off by people calling us pendata, and when I myself, I'm already the 3rd generation being born here, which I think is ridiculous, So I think it's time that Christians stand up and be counted.
As for my church, which I go to, I have never once heard the church pastor speaking at the pulpit saying that he supports or encourages a particular political party or a political individual. Never. The things which he speaks about are actually upon issues and virtues. In fact, I remember very distinctly one sermon when he actually gave a sermon on our responsibilities as citizens in this country. And among the responsibilities are that we are to respect our government, we are to obey our government. We may not agree with all the laws that have been formulated, but we are not to break the law. So basically, what the church tells us that we have to obey and follow the government. And the laws are actually the laws that have been instituted in the country. As for whether we support any particular government, I would say that the church supports a good government, Okay, of course the church would not want a bad government, and because of that, with the upcoming election, we are actually encouraged to sign up as voters and to vote for a good government. Now, the other thing I want to speak about is whether we have to actually differentiate between the church as a body and actually individuals within the church. For example, I am a member of my church, and although my church does not have an official view on support for a party or political individual, I certainly can have that. It is my right as an individual to actually state this and to actually inform or even encourage my friends or anybody who I come in contact with of my preferences. That is actually my right. Now, so too to individuals in the church leadership. Now, my personal opinion is this: even a pastor can also have his own personal opinion. In fact, anybody who actually goes to vote is actually deciding on a political process. Even the voting is a political process. So why is a pastor or anybody not allowed to have preference for a political candidate?